Medical disclaimer. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only and does not serve as medical advice. Kate and John are not medical professionals. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prevent any illness. Always consult your physician before making lifestyle changes. Welcome back to the Illuminated Path. This is episode 28. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about putting yourself first. And this is a conversation we've kind of had in the past, but we're talking about that as well as like investing in yourself in terms of time and money.
Yeah. I always think it's interesting because we do an episode on something, but there's so many more avenues we could go down.
Yeah.
How's the week?
The week is good. So today, my Breathe into Wellness 21-day breathwork and self-talk challenge is officially live.
Yay.
So it's not too late to join. If you are interested in learning about it, finding out more, and signing up, you can go to newmoonholisticlife.com/challenge. There is a community piece to it. There is daily videos. Well, not daily. There's videos every couple days and then a break where it's like a reflection. We're doing breathwork practices, 7 different kinds. I'm teaching all about self-talk. And then everybody's going to be, checking in and holding each other accountable and sharing in the community. So I'm really excited to get started. So if anybody is interested and want to sign up, again, it's definitely not too late. I would be overjoyed to have you.
Yeah. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. You got your online coaching community and this is what we've been working toward for years.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And I want to share about this challenge. I had to very much practice what I'm preaching and use my own breathwork because I have to re-record all of the videos
Yep.
that I recorded for the course because the microphone just wasn't working. It's got all sorts of static from me moving around. And so to say I was stressed and frustrated is an understatement.
Yep.
But I honestly had to practice what I preach. And there's literally nothing I can do except move forward and redo it, even though I do not want to because it took a lot of time.
Yep.
So yeah, it works.
So we're gonna be
because I didn't lose my mind like I probably would have a few years ago if I hadn't had this practice.
Yeah. Gonna be doing that with a different mic this time.
Yes, my trusty podcast mic.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Sounds so good.
The SM7B. Anyways, neck and back in pain. What's going on there?
Well, I was just gonna give few other, life updates. Yeah, my neck and back have been in pain. I don't know what I did. I hurt my back initially, and then it kind of navigated up to my neck. Just really stiff. Had a lot of trouble sleeping for a few days, and then had to skip out on the gym for a few days, and that never feels good. So it's kind of stiff right now. Getting a little better, but really ready for that to be 100% again.
Yeah.
And then just another update on life stuff. So we both got all of our results back from our blood work testing, our GI map testing. And so I've started on 4 new supplements. I have 2 supplements for my gut. One of them is to help really repair the lining of my gut. And one is digestive enzymes that I'm taking before every meal so I can help my body produce the digestive enzymes to help just everything. And then the other 2 supplements I have are for my immune system. So my immune system is kind of on high alert and there's a lot of inflammation going on. So that's it. Like working with our naturopaths, I love them because they're all about like efficiently giving you what you need to help your body start to heal and not having it be, 85 supplements and also not having it be long term.
Right. I think that's the thing too, in sharing with friends and family about working with a naturopath, people ask, like, is that something you have to take forever? And generally, if you find a good naturopath, the idea is generally kind of giving your body that kickstart where it's like, I'm not taking any of my supplements anymore, and I'm going to just be taking what my naturopath recommends. And, that's not a long term thing. You're doing a course of it and then get your body into a better space. And from there, you let your body kind of take the reins and regulate.
Yeah. So you have just 2 supplements you're taking, right? Plus, like, digestive bitters before you eat?
Yep. So, well, he also wants me to do castor oil packs, some things to support my liver. Um, the liver supplement I'm taking is before every meal. So I'll have to have the digestive bitters and the liver supplement. And then at night, I'm going to be taking a specific fiber drink that will basically help regrow beneficial bacteria in my gut.
Yeah.
So very exciting. It's definitely a journey, but I'm loving learning about it. So I did my 3-day fast. I finished the fast. I actually didn't get to 3 days. I got to 68 hours and some change. So we had wood to stack and I was getting dizzy and I was like, it's not going to happen. So broke it a little early. It went very well though. So um, I had some like blistery bumps on my toes that I usually got when I was training MMA, and I think it was like the cleaner or something. And my doctor told me that that channel, having seeing it in that spot, according to Oriental medicine, it correlates to the liver. So when we got my lab work back, that was kind of confirmed. There's some stuff going on in my liver, but doing the 3-day fast, they cleared up. So that was really good. I've been doing the coffee enemas. That's, putting coffee up my butt is always a great
I
time.
didn't know what you were gonna share.
Yeah, that's always a great time.
Well, the world knows now.
But it helps like the amount of research on this. Well, actually, the research is really interesting because they don't account for, um, I'm rambling, but they don't account for like the materials and the type of coffee and things like that. So it can be a great way to support your liver. Anyways,
All that being said, be in touch with your doctor before making any of these decisions.
yes.
John spoke with his naturopath before doing the fast, before doing the enemas, and, so that was important.
Yeah. So talk to us about supporting ourselves first, because obviously, yes, we have talked about this before, but there's a lot that goes into this topic. And I think that we've talked it a lot about in the context of a relationship. Um, or
And
you're
showing up for your business.
right, right. And so you love the example of the airplane. And I love this too. So do you want to explain that?
Yeah, if you've been on an airplane, they always tell you if you, for some reason, had to use the oxygen mask that comes down, you have to put yours on first before you, help your kids or help anyone around you because you have to take care of yourself first. Like if you start losing oxygen yourself, how can you be helpful to anyone else?
Yep.
So it's about you have to take care of yourself first. And it's that same idea of you can't pour from an empty cup. Like you can't go and try and help all these other people and put your effort and energy into others if you have nothing to pour from.
Right.
So I just love those analogies. I think they're spot on in terms of just life.
Yeah.
It's a real thing in terms of like an airplane, but in life it's a pretty great analogy.
Well, I think the thing is like we've all kind of culturally tried to avoid being selfish, right? And like nobody wants to be labeled as selfish. When in reality, like the most selfless thing that you can do is to put yourself first. I read Grant Cardone's Millionaire booklet, and he said being wealthy, being extraordinarily wealthy, is a selfless act because you want to be able to provide for other people. And I think it's just a really interesting way of starting to flip that script of like, in order to help, you have to put yourself first.
Yeah, it definitely is selfless to put yourself first because again, you can't pour from nothing. Like how
Right.
can you put your energy, like your true effort and energy into something if you're coming at it from nothing? Like you're just absolutely drained.
Yeah.
So how do you put yourself first, right? We've talked about this a lot too, and part of that is really knowing what your needs are. You have to define your needs and your non-negotiable in terms of your well-being. Like, how do you take care of yourself, your mind, body, and soul, your nutrition, your exercise, your time for hobbies and fun and recreation time, time that you're spending by yourself, time that you're spending with loved ones. You have to really put some thought into what that all means for you and what you need in order to know how you can put yourself first.
Right. Like you got to define what it means for you. And I think this is something you and it's kind of an interesting time to talk about because we've restructured our brands and we're not promoting it as this brand anymore. We're making it you are the brand. And in doing that, I'm not in the forefront of it anymore. And it gives me the freedom to go do what is really non-negotiable for me, which is music.
Mhm.
And we're restructuring our schedule now to be doing that. I'm supporting you how I can without being, in the forefront of it. And then in the background, I'm able to, I'm planning now to do a song a week and I'm trying to get there and
He put it out there, folks.
I'm
Keep
making
him
a big
accountable.
I'm making a big plan to be doing a song a week and it the thing is like it doesn't have to be an amazing song every week, but I digress. I think that having that ability to define it for yourself and be able to prioritize that is huge.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, what do I need? Like, what actually makes me feel good so that I am energized to help others?
Yeah.
As both of us being introverts, right? Like, something we don't love is going out and socializing a ton and like having super busy schedules. And so when that happens, we know we need time to chill
Mm,
out, quiet down. But for other people who are like extroverted, that gives them energy.
yeah.
So it's really, you have to know yourself and know what lights you up, what gives you energy so that you can then go and put that energy into other people, other things, whatever.
I'm just thinking of like when you and I spend time with family, like there's sometimes, depending on how long we're with family or what the event is, it's funny. Like we get home and we will have time where we're just like chilling on the couch and we don't even talk, or we even have times where like you're gonna go read a book and I'm gonna take my own space, and like we just it varies and we have to kind of figure that out on a case by case basis. But it's about knowing what you need because that time allows us to then circle back and show up and actually be present for each other.
Yeah. And then part of that is communicating that to your
Yeah.
partner, to your family, to whomever is in your life that's going to be a part of that, and making sure that, you are able to schedule time for yourself. And scheduling is a huge piece, especially if you're very busy. Again, I can't speak to having children, but I know that that is, of course, taking up a ton of time as a parent. And there has to be some sort of balance where, if you need some alone time, your significant other can hopefully step in and give you that space, even if it's not a long time. So
Yeah.
that's why, again, it's so important to know your needs, ask for those needs, and compromise wherever you need to so that you can take that time for yourself.
Shout out to single parents. Y'all are rock
Oh my
stars.
goodness, I could never.
So that kind of takes us then to investing in yourself because I think that we talk about putting ourselves first. And, from my side of things, from my perspective, I've seen a lot of very successful entrepreneurs and investors and business owners who talk about the fact that if they had nothing, they would invest in themselves. That first $500 is going to go toward their education. Go take a class, go do a seminar. And I think that's really important in terms of like being able to define what you're trying to work toward and how you're actually making a plan to get there. Because your greatest asset, if you don't have other assets, is going to be your mind. So, how does that play a role in terms of investing in ourselves and being able to put ourselves first?
Yeah, so talking about time and money and coming from like our marketing brain, you think like,
Yeah.
what's my ROI, my return on investment? And investing in yourself, if it's time spent doing something, what do you like? What comes out of that? Do you learn a new skill? Do you, get to purchase something that you've always wanted to purchase? Or are you creating a new hobby? I don't know, whatever it is, you're spending that time. And then, like, what is the outcome of that? As well as in money. And sometimes people have a really hard time spending money on themselves. I'm someone who's always done that. I've
Yeah.
always like been able to spend money here and there on other people, and then when it comes time to spending money on myself, I'd be more like cautious about it.
Right.
Because something that we're currently doing is we invested in ourselves to work with our naturopaths, and the return on that investment is astronomical. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not worth a dollar amount because I'm setting myself up for a better future and to feel my best, and that is my health is worth everything for me.
Yeah. I mean, you feel your best. That generates a return in everything that you do.
Yeah, and then sometimes, it is monetary, like, if you are investing in a course to learn how to do something in your business, and that can, you're spending the money, and then the investment, the return on it is that you're making more money.
Mm.
It takes time, and then, there's a bigger and better investment in the end.
Yeah. And it also makes me think about Ryan Pineda's talked about it. He ran a conference, a real estate conference, and there was somebody there, some guy connected with some other guy. And long story short, they made a connection that generated $20 million. And the idea is like, you've got to understand that furthering your education is going to open you up to opportunities that you wouldn't have previously had. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about how learning about real estate was kind of the start of it all for him. He attended a real estate class, and sometimes he goes to classes and doesn't learn much. And one of the classes he went to uh, got him the opportunity for his first rental. And ultimately, he'd said he got $2 million from that $500 class.
Right.
So it's all about understanding, like, and there's a grain of salt too. Not every class is going to be a great fit. um but I'm also learning this myself, is like, you can't show up with ego of, oh, I already know all this,
Mm.
because you'll miss the opportunities. You won't get what you wanted to get out of it. And if you already know something, I mean, just kind of keep in mind, you know a lot of things. Sometimes you need a refresher.
Yeah, and there's always more to learn, so part of this investing in yourself, you like to say that we're all eternal students.
Yeah, I love that. You're never, especially in my time in MMA, like, there's no such thing as a master. The my sensei at the time, he was still training every day. You don't ever go, "Oh, I've got this mastered."
I know it all.
Right. And like, even in MMA, you would say I'm trained, but you're not trained. That's not reality. Like,
Like, it's past tense.
right. It's not like it's something someone might say in terms of, like, I've said it, but it's not meant to mean I know everything. It's meant to say, like, I have a fluid knowledge of it, but you never know it all. And again, I'm going back to MMA, but there's an understanding there of, the second you stop training for more than a month, you lose a lot of it.
Mhm.
And so it's also this idea of, you got to continue to train. You've got to be a student. You've got to continue to be in it, to engage in those practices. And I've seen that even with my music. That's the best way that I can stay in it and remember all the things I've learned, is by continuing to show up and put it into practice.
Yeah, there's always opportunities to continue your education, and so much of it you can do free. Like,
Yeah.
YouTube is a wealth of information and resources. I mean, our podcast is free and it's meant to help educate
Yeah.
people. Um, we just learned how to make a blanket using YouTube.
Yeah.
And like, it's just something new. It's something to challenge our brains. It was a fun activity and it was free to learn how to do.
Going back to eternal student, I genuinely believe that when you stop learning, that's when you start dying.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much to learn in this lifetime. And that's why, like, with you, I'm like, okay, let's learn how to make a blanket. Like, why not?
Yeah.
So I think, plus, I want to learn how to crochet. I I think that would be awesome. So I'll make a hat or something. But
Coming up next.
yeah, but my point is, there's just always things to learn. There's always things that will challenge you. And in terms of cognitive function, it's incredibly beneficial for you to continue to be learning new things.
Yeah, there's YouTube, like I said, there's books on everything that you can ever imagine. I mean, the list of books that I want to read is so long, I don't know if I will ever get to all of them.
Yeah,
There's always
same.
seminars. I mean, you go on Instagram and people put out, like, free master classes like we did, free seminars all the time. I join them. I love watching other people even in the holistic, coaching space and
Yeah,
hearing their perspective and hearing how they grew, and it's just really important to continue to hear other people's perspectives and information. So taking the time to put into yourself to continue to learn is huge.
yeah. I also think about, you can go on LinkedIn. They have certification programs now if there's something that might help you in your career. There's tests you can take and certifications you can get there. But in here we have, priority because investing in yourself is number one, going to challenge your relationship with money. And number two, it's going to require you to prioritize what's important. And that's really where you put into practice putting yourself first.
Mhm.
So I think it's important to understand, right? Like a lot of people, and, myself and you included, we're not perfect. There's things you're spending money on that you don't need to spend money on. I always go to the sneakerhead shoe example because it's such a common thing for guys my age to buy a ton of shoes that are like $500 pair of shoes. And that's a week of groceries
Mhm.
or more. So my point is trim the fat in your budget where you can if you need to reallocate. Like if you really want to invest in yourself and put something, great example. We are making some investments now and we got rid of some things that we weren't using so that it wasn't, something we had to pull out of our budget. But we got rid of some things to get some money liquid to make some investments. And that's, one way you can do it.
Yeah, and, I think that investing in your health, like I said before, us working with naturopaths, but even just choosing healthier options for food, like, I will never sit here and say we're perfect,
Yeah.
but we always, always, always do our best to choose the best options when that is available, and it makes such a difference in how we
Mm,
feel.
yeah.
Like, there's no way I could function in the way that, we are and be working on our businesses and taking care of our house and our dogs and everything if I was just eating ultra processed foods 100% of the time.
Yeah. Same.
And then I have to invest time into cooking those home cooked meals and I have to adjust my schedule accordingly in order to make that happen.
I think that's a big one. Like it's a time commitment to eat whole foods, to eat well. And there's also an understanding of you can't like you're going to be dealing with ingredients that are not perfect anytime you're not eating whole foods.
Yeah.
But you got to find that balance. Your 85-15 is there
Mhm.
and what works for you. Do your best but be human.
Yeah, that's why, planning and preparing and thinking about it ahead of time is such an important piece to understanding where do I allocate my time, where do I allocate my money to make the best decisions for myself and ultimately who else does that affect?
Yeah.
Your family.
So, anything else on investing in yourself and prioritizing yourself?
One other thing we were going to mention was just like career wise.
Yeah.
There's always ways that you can invest in, maybe it's a new certification or some sort of education that you can take. I know, like my brother, for example, got his master's degree. His job, he was lucky enough that they paid for that.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're at a corporation, usually a larger corporation, there's going to be some kind of program for you to have that paid. Sometimes there's an agreement, stay 2 years after if you guys pay for it, sort of thing. But there's always opportunities.
Opportunities is, I think, the big one. Like, look out for opportunities and see how can I take advantage of this opportunity. And again, like, is it worth the investment in my time and or money?
Yeah. So, in conclusion, look for areas, whether it's your health, your family, your career, or a hobby and just something you want to do to learn something new, pursue a new certification, or find something that could help you advance in any area. look forward to and embrace being a student again and knowing nothing about something.
Yeah, like, it doesn't just end when you finish college and that's it. There's always more opportunities to learn different things, career or otherwise, like you said.
Yeah, I have a really bad attitude about that because I think that a lot of people do that and I you just start rotting away. So,
Yeah.
I'm very opinionated in that regard. I think,
Like, if you don't continue to learn.
yeah, like you can't just go to college and then take a job and start rotting away and do that job for 40 years and go out on Fridays and drink and do the whole thing. There's more to life for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. Friendly reminder that my challenge is open. Today is the very first day. So if you are interested, newmoonholisticlife.com/challenge. You can join today. If you are too busy this weekend and want to wait, you can, join in a couple days and the each day will still be there. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a couple days behind and join the challenge, do your breathwork practices, and join the community and have that accountability piece as well as just talking with other people going through it. So
Yeah.
feel free to reach out to me as well if you have any questions at all. I'm on Instagram at Kate Macri _.
Yep. It's $32. It's a 21-day challenge where you will learn breath work and self-talk exercises. So it's really going to help you regulate your nervous system and also start to change your self-talk and rewrite that script with yourself to be in a more positive place.
Yeah,
So I'm very proud of you. Great job on that.
thanks.
Friendly reminder, this podcast is sponsored by New Moon Apparel. That is our Zen motivation and moon themed clothing line. You can shop designs at newmoonapparel.com. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.